I never lie to myself, nor do I lie to other people. I always tell myself the truth. I never cite myself. To my mind, psychology has its place, however, and it's for me to use not on myself, nor to routinely practice on other people. For my yes is my yes, my no is my no, and if it's maybe, or let me think about it, then that's what I say. Notwithstanding, there are occasions when, from time to time, persons here or there cross my path appearing to have cognitive issues. For example, and you will routinely hear something like this. There was this lady that kept going back to the doctor, insisting something was wrong with her, notwithstanding a thorough checkup revealed otherwise. So, due to her persistence, the doctor gave her a placebo and she began feeling better right away. If people were to ask me the general question, who am I, with regard to the nature of human existence, such as to ask whether I really exist, and if so, how do I know, and what the nature of my existence is. Well, who am I? I am neither my body nor mind, although they belong to me. Whatever belongs to me or you can only be our property. It cannot be us. Whenever our bodies and minds return to the dust, we will continue to exist. For we are spirit beings at the core, who only became life when God breathed life into us. We are like onions coming with 5 layers, one inside the other. On the outermost layer is the physical body, inside of which you have the mental body, inside of which lies the energy body, inside of which is the transient body, 1 through 4 comprising physical body and mind. Inside of those 4 and at the core is the spirit being, which is non physical. For a person only became or becomes life when God breathed life into him or her. So she is a spirit being, that is the nature of our human existence, an eternal spirit being. Even when the body and mind returns to the dust, human beings continue to exist in the spirit realm. Do you really exist? There are 2 aspects with regard to the way in which you exist. One is your existential reality, and the other your psychological drama. Reality is something that never changes. Therefore, one human being comprises a duo, both a physical and a spirit nature. Two, the way a person knows she exists is not only through logic and the 5 common senses, but also through consciousness and awareness. Descartes said, I think, therefore I am. I say no to that. It's the other way around. It is because you exist that you are able to think. Everyone is born conscious. Therefore, consciousness is a shared commodity. However, being fully conscious or becoming fully conscious and aware is quite another matter. One doesn't strive to become fully conscious. She simply has to turn up the voltage of awareness, become fully enlightened, allowing sufficient light to reveal everything. For light reveals everything. As for awareness, it is a spiritual concept. One has to be alert whenever driving. Awareness goes with consciousness. Reality is what comes naturally. If you have to invent it, then it's a lie or a story, make believe. Not because you are unable to logically comprehend something, however, means it's not real. Not because you cannot comprehend God with logic means God is unreal. God is real as life itself. Life is real. Creation, the created universe, physical created universe is real. However, you cannot know God through logic. You can only surrender to the process, which is knowledge through the experience of a relationship with God, likened to the way you'd hypothetically know a prostitute, through the experience of a one night stand relationship, by which means you then acquire both spiritual as well as legal knowledge. Considering that reality never changes and that it is what comes naturally, then whatever is not real about you as a human being is purely psychological. For example, the way you think, feel, and experience life is purely psychological because there are things that you can change. You can change the way you think, change the way you feel, change the way you experience life right from within yourself with inner engineering. So they're purely psychological. I have consistently said these things about myself from this Reality with Partiality platform. I am no longer a believer, Christian believer. I've never met Christ. I don't have anything about him, but I'll wait until Christ enters my experience. Okay? So I neither believe nor disbelieve anything any longer until it enters my experience. Who I am a seeker of truth. And I use my intellect for that. I use my intellect, the tool for exploration. Intellect wants to know, not believe. So it doesn't make you rest until you investigate and, explore. The intellect is a tool for exploration, is the tool. It's not for drawing conclusions. So, look, for example, if you talk about belief, you know, uh, if you anchor, then in a belief system, how can you explore? Unless you explore, how can you know? So when you believe, what you do is you shut down the possibility of knowing. If you talk about not drawing conclusions, like I keep using the example with my brother, who is near and dear to me, my mind would be acting on its own to preempt or to wonder, meander about what my brother will do, if, when, what, why, how. My brother is coming in a few days and we'll be going to explore. We're going on an expedition. Wherever it leads. That is the beauty, the mystery of it. Wherever it leads. We're two different persons. I know from my side I love my brother unconditionally. I'm the older of the two, just by a year, but it matters in a sense of calendar. And look, I'll be about my mission, which will not change. He knows I'm building the foundation to this platform on the ground, the holistic center, and my brother is coming to build his retirement home. So he'll be on his mission, and I'll be on mine, and there'll be places where we connect and work together. There'll be places where we are, doing our own things. And the entire time we'll be having fun with each other, right? But my brother does him, I do me. So I use my intellect, which wants to know, not believe. The intellect is a tool for exploration, not for drawing conclusions. So I no longer draw conclusions. When you draw conclusions, it's like you're writing a person off. When, as long as a person lives, there's always the awesome possibility that becomes transforms into becoming the best version of him or herself. So I simply take what's there, seeing with clarity through a plain mirror, in real time in front of me. That's what I go by when people are in front of me. I give them my undivided attention and I take what's there. It's like, photography, a snapshot. This is what's there, this is what's there. I see with clarity through a plain mirror. I no longer either identify with any religion or political organization, political party. However, I associate and I do so with all. In the case of politics, including the third parties that are out there, I don't discriminate. I'm a devotee to spirituality, and as such, based on the knowledge that God, a spirit being, God is a spirit being, and God doesn't have agenda, among other things. God is God of the 5% created universe and the rest of 95% existence. So God, terms like everywhere and nowhere apply to God. And the spirit realm, God is impartial. God does not discriminate. So the entire 8.3 billion world population are all God's children. Okay, so it's for you. You can call God Father if you want. Okay, but God is Father to the entire 8.3 billion world population. Who else created them? So I too must be impartial as a devotee to Christianity, a person of integrity, to be a person of integrity. I don't have a value system. If I were to do that, then I'd be brown nosing other people. I'd be looking down on them, judging them from my value system. No, the standard of acceptance, that has to be the standard, okay? It has to be the universal standard, acceptance. I accept people the way they are and with the way they are different from myself, you know? Uh, People are born individuals and as such indivisible, one of a kind. So each one is unique. So it's interesting if you take the time to learn about a person, everything you possibly can about a person and how that person differs from you. But what society has done and where society has gone wrong is to try and standardize, to, to try and put everyone in a jacket in the same uniform. So they go to school and they give them the same education instead of allowing people to blossom in their own respective one of a kind selves, becoming the best version of themselves. So people, in seeing my integrity, give me their trust and will extend you the same courtesy. It's only people that, you know, lose their trust, like some politicians, from whom they require and demand promissory notes. So I neither lie to myself nor do I practice lying to other people. I always tell myself the truth. That's how I am able to sit in stillness and on a stable foundation by not psyching myself. To my mind, psychology has its place, however, and it is for those crossing the path, your path, appearing to have cognitive issues. So they're like the lady I described at the top of this presentation, you know, who kept saying to the doctor, something is wrong with me. And until she got that placebo pill, right, was when she began feeling better. And so that will be all. Much obliged. You have a good one. Look forward to the great and excellent presentation today with both Dr. McFadzean, who has found her unique lane, and Dr. Flores, a psychologist. I'll be looking forward to it. I'll be there on the set, and my role will largely be as a part of the audience, sort of, to make sure lay people they don't talk, they not be talking over our heads. So I will be representing the lay people, so they could break things down. Much obliged. You have a good one, and the show will be a day.